Morning ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. I bought a toy. I bought this K&F 82mm variable ND filter. The reason I bought this is I want to try this against these. These are my K's filters, and I've got 3 NDs in here, 64, 32 and 8 I think it is, and circular polarizer, and these are all the magnetic systems I've mentioned in other videos I've made on the subject. Now the reason I bought that, this variable ND filter I think can do everything this can do, or these, the combination of these. I think I can get the same effect as using any combination of these with this, with the exception of ganging up the NDs to the point it's black. But if I take any one ND and or the polarizer here, I think I can achieve the same thing with this one filter. And that's what I'm about to prove, and hopefully prove. I'm going to take a series of shots using these, and I'm going to take the same shots using these to demonstrate the polarizing effect of these and the ND effect of these and both, and the same with this, which is only one filter. The objective of this is, if I'm right, I only need this one filter to carry around, and at 80, I think it was £80, it's considerably cheaper than the 300 odd pounds that I spent on this, and also takes up less space and it's lighter. So let's get on with it. Okay, the first test I'm going to do is just the polarizing effect of the variable ND compared to the polarizing effect of my K's circular polarizer. And I've come up to the village green here, and the image I'm going to take is of our local church here. The reason I'm going to take a picture of the church is, one, it's quite a pretty church, but also at this time in the morning, as you can see from the shadows, if I spin you round, the shadows from the sun obviously are pointing more or less due west, and the church is pointing due north, which means I'm 90 degrees away from the sun, which means the polarizing effect of both filters will be at their maximum. So I'll get that one. I've done those. These are all handheld shots, but I've taken 2 of each. The first 2 are with the variable ND on. First one was no polarizing and the second one was with polarizing, and then the second 2 shots were the same sequence but with the K's circular polarizer. So the next thing to do is go down the track with the dog and go to the lake at the end of the lane and get the reflections or lack of reflections to prove the polarizing, and then I'll put the ND filters on and compare those. So the first tests were with the 2 sets of filters were done with the church, which I just explained. I'm now moving down to the little reservoir just past our shooting field, and I'm hoping to get the reflections on the water with the circular polarizers to compare them. I'm also going to put the 3 K's ND filters on and take 1 shot for each of those. And then at the end of that, I'll take 1 shot with each of those with the polarizer, the K's polarizer. And then when I've done that, I will use the variable ND and set it at the 3 ND settings that equate to exactly the same values as my my K's filters. Although it's variable, I appreciate that, but for comparison's point of view, I want to ensure that I've got 3 representative NDs configured that go with the fixed NDs of the K's filters, and hopefully we'll see in post-processing what those differences are, if any, and whether my theory is right or not. Can you get away with just 1 variable ND to replace all of the other filters? We shall see. Hey, I've just done a test on the little stream that's just behind me, mainly because it's got reflections. The reservoir isn't very interesting, but the little stream running through the woods here has got some nice reflections on it. And what I've concluded is the first shots I took were with the variable ND, the K&F variable, and the second two shots were taken again with the K's circular polarizer. And what I observed was absolutely no difference in, basically, from what I could see through the camera, no difference at all in the amount of polarization between the two. They both did exactly pretty close to the same job. And I also tested it against the sky back at the church and found the same thing. Now, I've just realized I've made a bit of a boo-boo because the variable ND goes from variable ND2, which is virtually clear, to ND32. Now, my K's filters are an ND8, an ND64 and an ND1000. So there's only one of those that can even come close to being compared with the K&F variable ND, which is the 8, because I can set 8 between 2 and 32. So I don't see much point comparing the ND part of it anymore, because simply I've got two much darker filters in my K's system. So I think the conclusion I'm going to draw is that I'm going to need both. Now, I've got both, so I'm reasonably happy about that. And in times where I don't need a big stopper type functionality, then the variable ND and the polarizing effect it brings will be what I use. And when I do need a big stopper effect, for instance slowing the sea down to make it turn milky, all of those usual things, or in street photography making people and vehicles disappear as much as is possible, then the combination of the two other K's filters will do that job very fine for me. So I'm going to wind that one up here. When I get back, I'll put the video online. Hopefully you'll find it informative, and please give it a thumbs up if you like it, and if you don't, do thumbs down twice, because that's the best way to do thumbs downs, I find. And then we shall move on. I'll leave the images at the end of the video so you can compare them, and if anybody wants the raw files to have a look at, please PM me and or drop a message below, and I'll happily put them online somewhere so you can download them and have a play with them. Anyway, that's it from this short video. We'll see you on the next video. Thank you very much for watching. If you like this video, please give it the thumbs up, and please also subscribe so that you get notified when I upload new videos.